Good morning and welcome to Lower Trestles in San Clemente, California. Stop number 8 for the men and 7 for the women of the Samsung Galaxy Championship Tour. Fun little waves out front, but everything's soaked. Can't even sit on our chairs. It's really wet in here. Yep. We really welcome some rain that we really needed in Southern California, as we want to say hello to everyone watching Dawn Patrol. Joe Turpel alongside 89 world champ Martin Potter.
Morning, Joe.
Known for his movie Strange Desires. You ever see that, Ross?
Many times. I think I burned a hole through that VCR tape.
Ross Williams had a perfect 100 at the Eddie Cal event back in the day.
Wow.
Ross, what happened to that contest?
I think the swell declined rapidly, so by the afternoon they determined that the waves were a little too small and they stopped it.
Yep.
And I was right there.
I would love to finish that one off. Close one. A lot coming up on the show this morning on Dawn Patrol. We'll talk about what's going to be coming up in the quarterfinals for the Hurley Pro, the semifinals for the Swatch Women's Pro. I'm going to put them on the spot to see who's going to win the contest. We'll also talk about the Brazilian Storm. That whole idea came about here at Lower Trestles at the Prime event. Miguel Pupo won, and they're dominating the draw on the quarterfinal side. We'll get into the GoPro breakdown and then go into the Surfline Forecast to see when we could get things underway. Well, Potts, a couple of days off.
Yep.
Had a surf down the beach the other day. How are the lay days treating you?
Yeah, good. I prefer contest days. Lay days, it sort of takes too much out of you. You know, you get up early anticipating the start of the event. I mean, we had such a good start that you almost want to keep that ball rolling. It's good to have a little rest, though, regather, come back. I mean, we all had a little surf family time for you, Ross.
Oh, yeah. I got my kids here, as you guys know, and so coming to California is so much fun. Obviously, the waves are great, and we're here to work to do the Hurley Pro, but there's Disneyland, there's everything around California. My kids are frothing.
So much fun. Late activities are always interesting to see what the world's best will get up to after such a serious start. 4 straight days of competition. They got some great time off, and Courtney Conlog calls up Jeep, the official sponsor of the tour, and got completely muddy the other day.
Where did she go?
Yeah,
down the beach.
Really
Seriously, Manzal was there as well. And also Lakey Peterson. She's been in fine form. She actually got to join us on the desk the other day.
Yeah, Lakey's surfing good. Probably as good as I've ever seen. She's looking really confident. She's got Bianca in that semi-final #1, but no latest for her. She's in the water surfing.
Bianca Batendog, time to catch a breath. She caught a big breath the other day, beating Nikki Van Dyke by 0.01, Ross.
Wow. Yeah, she's, this is going to be a really cool matchup between her and Lakey. And then who we got here is this Gabby. You can read Portuguese, Joe?
That's right. Today's surf with his little buddy. Doing great. He said it was fun. Ripped lowers. Hanging out with Davi. It was great to see him out there just having a blast.
Yep.
Things get so serious out here when the contest is on, and they finally get to kind of pull back a little bit before it's going to be game time again, which we're probably coming up pretty close to. Thinking about big quarterfinal matchups on the men's side. Gabriel Medina looking for his first win since the Billabong Pro Tahiti last season.
I'll tell you what, it's been a while in between drinks for Gabriel, but it's the new and improved Gabriel Medina. I mean, we saw signs of brilliance there at Jeffreys Bay. He's continued that role going, a second in the last event, and now he's back on track. Quarterfinals here. Nat Young, though, that's a big ask right there. Nat Young surfing super sharp as well. So battle of the goofy footers in that last quarterfinal heat.
Battle of the backhand stomps. They both have that kind of go-to maneuver. And then speaking of serious, Joe, Adriano Souza, to my knowledge, is the only one out of these 8 competitors that's actually in the water right now. And the waves are pretty small. That just shows you he is the Terminator. Just keeps going.
Straight dedication when you look at Parco 2 coming into that matchup. Number 18 in the world taking on Toledo. That's going to be fun to watch as we rewind the tape and check out some of these highlights. Toledo finding his feet. Looks like he's getting better and better as the contest progresses towards the final series.
That he is. His confidence is building. I mean, he's come off a pretty tough part of the year for him. So he's definitely looking forward to getting the ball rolling here. Quarterfinal #1. He's up against this man, Joel Parkinson, injured and everything. I mean, he's got a bulging disc in his neck, but not surfing that way. Going to the air, doing some great surfing. Some of the best I've sort of seen from Joel so far this year, Ross.
Yeah, agreed. And that's a cool thing for Joel is I think this is actually a fun matchup between him and Felipe because it kind of shows that progression versus Carves. But Joel, it doesn't look like he's injured. He is so loose.
Exactly.
Looking very solid. Swatch Women's Pro member all the way up to the semifinals. Batendog, Lakey Peterson going head-to-head. That's a matchup number 4 against number 5 in the world. Chris Amore's taking on Dimity Stoyle, where Dimity's now on the front page of the rankings. This is a huge moment for her to try to put herself in that top 10 picture.
It is such a welcomed result there for Dimity. But let's talk a little bit about Lakey first. I mean, you can see that she's got things going right now. She's looking confident. She's looking strong. Looks like she's done a lot of work on her equipment, just her approach on the wave, and I think it's taken her to the semi-finals. She does have her work cut out for the Bianca. It's kind of been a trend towards the goofy footers in this event. We've seen them posting the higher scores.
Yeah, you know what's cool? One of my favorite things about doing this job that we have, you see these competitors week in and week out. You can actually see if they find something, whether it's a really good board or whatever it is. We saw that with Courtney Conalog on the Gold Coast. You guys remember? All of a sudden we're like, whoa, Courtney's surfing way better this year.
Yep.
I see the same thing here at lowers for Lakey Peterson. I've never seen her surf this good. So the surfboard looks great. Whatever it is she's doing with snips, she could be a world title contender if she keeps that level.
Absolutely.
So great to see Lakey Peterson on a roll, looking for a major win here on her home court in San Clemente, California. As we really look forward to those matchups, we really want to know when this thing is going to get underway. So let's now get a call from Chelsea Cannell with our Deputy Commissioner, Renato Hickel. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe. You guys are looking nice and warm up there. I'm a little bit jealous. It's a little chilly down here, but I've got our Deputy Commissioner, Renato, who has all the information that we want to know. I know we really want to run today. We've had a couple of lay days. Eager to get back in the water, but the conditions are the most important with so many things down on the line. Renato, will we be seeing competition get underway today?
Well, unfortunately not. It's by far the worst day of the window today. Surf only in a 1 to 2 foot range, the occasional 3 feet set every now and then. But we're also expecting today onshore winds after 9 o'clock this morning. But the good news is that the Surfline Forecast looks really good for Thursday and Friday. So tomorrow and after, we should be finishing the event. I'm confident it will be tomorrow, so fingers crossed. We have another call at 7 a.m. tomorrow local time. So fingers crossed we will be able to resume competition.
Gotta love that. He starts with the bad news, but he gives us the good news. So it looks like we will have another lay day. You guys, when we come back, we are going to talk about the Brazilian storm and run down the surfers by region. You're not going to want to miss that, so stick with us.
Good morning and welcome to Dawn Patrol here at the Hurley Pro and the Swatch Women's Pro. As you can see, a nice cloudy morning down here. A lot cooler than it's been for the start of this big event. The waves still look really fun. Lowers is kind of one of those spots. If the Surfline Forecast says it's flat, you can kind of surf out here and always find a little wave to run through. Not a whole lot going down here earlier this morning because we know tomorrow could be a potential day to finish this one off. One thing we've been noticing, boys, is just this dominance of the Brazilian Tour. You guys both competed at the championship tour level. The whole idea was, when will a Brazilian win a world title? We accomplished that last season, and now we currently still have number one in the world on the Brazilian side with De Souza.
Yeah, De Souza's been holding onto that jersey, and I think it's due to the fact that everyone stumbled along the way. You know, everyone's had an opportunity to overtake that, put that yellow jersey on himself. Owen had a chance, Mick's had a chance. They've all had a kind of a shot at it, but failed to do so. So in saying that, Adriano still got that jersey.
I think, you know, for Adriano de Souza to win the world title, he kind of needed to happen what happened. He needed the guys behind him to really kind of drop the ball, and that's exactly what's going on. So he's got, obviously you guys know this, he's got a great shot to win because he's already done well here in France and Portugal. Is kind of up his wheelhouse there. He knows how to get good results, and then coming into pipe, you know, he's definitely improved his game there as well.
I got a question for you. Do you think he's going to have it wrapped up before Hawaii?
Well,
Pipeline's a tricky one to sort of rest on.
He's definitely, compared to, you know, say Kelly or Mick and some of the other front runners, yeah, he's not going to have the edge at Pipeline. But he's made the finals before at the Volcom QS, and in the last 4 or 5 years, Joe, wouldn't you say he's really improved? He spends a lot of time in Hawaii, so you know he's covered that gap.
Big time. Even though he's winless there at the Pipe Masters, he's done well to spend a ton of time at Pipe and Backdoor during the off-season, especially when you think about Surfers on Region. We're highlighting the Brazilians because they're dominating the quarterfinals. You can see the Hawaiians on tour with some representatives, but losing Freddie P from that topic. We had Jordy Smith on tour, but he's been injured. We've been missing this South Africa contingent. We got to see a representative of Japan at this event with Hiroto Ohara winning the trials at T Street recently. And you also see who's left in the event. 4 Brazilians remaining in the Hurley Pro in the quarterfinals, 3 from Australia, and just 1 from the USA with Nat Young, which kind of brings up the topic of the United States. Ross, I mean, even though Hawaii is part of the United States, it's always been a separate region when it comes to competing on tour.
Yeah, you know, kind of it is the birthplace for surfing, and there's so many proud Hawaiians over the years that want to represent Hawaii and, you know, and wave that flag. So it's great that you know, the World Surf League and all these years before have kind of allowed that region to represent itself and continue that tradition. And then looking at the QS, as you know, we were kind of taking a peek into it and who's coming up next. You know, obviously Nat Young is out here by himself representing America in the quarterfinals, but you know who's coming up next, and it's Kanoa Igarashi. You know, he's rated 3rd on the QS, so pretty cool to see that you know there's a few Americans that are waving the flag.
I mean, look, Alejo Muniz, Alex Ribeiro, Felipe Toledo, Kyle Labelli. I mean, there's still a lot of Brazilians in there, though.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, you know, I don't know, is it come down to the fact that they're a little bit more hungry? Because that's what I'm seeing right now.
Well, I kind of took a peek at the ratings, and especially for new surfers on new names on that list. In the top 50, there's 8 from Brazil. There's 7 from America if you combine Hawaii and America. So there is, and then Australians are still, you know, we talk about the Brazilian Storm, but the Australians, there's 13 in the top 50 with Ryan Callanan kind of leading that charge. So there's still quite a bit of balance, but no one's going to ever argue how so much passion from Brazil. You know, I mean, the guys that come from there, they just want to eat contests. They love it.
It's so interesting, though, when you look at the USA guys, lack thereof on tour these days, it feels like, even though Kelly has the most CT wins with 54, behind him Tom Curran with 33, but the talk has been about Brazil taking over the lowers lineup. As we remember, who's left? It's Felipe Toledo, dominated the QS 10,000, and Wiggly Dantes. That it looks so powerful. Potts, have you figured out how this guy throws so much spray out the back?
Well, because he's strong. He's a strong kid. He's got great timing as well. You look at the way he comes off the bottom and unloads that big top turn there. Doesn't look like he's putting a lot into it. It's very similar to Joel Parkinson's approach, where he looks like he's cruising along and then just unloads. But this kid right here, I think he's going to be the one to watch. If he can get past Nat Young, who's on fire as well, I think his confidence is sky high. Final in Tahiti over there at Chopu, just losing to Jeremy Flores, but he's going to want to go one better. I think he's looking the goods.
And you know what's cool for the guys, I think there is supposed to be just a little bit of an influence from a wind swell during the next couple of days that could break it up. I think we'll see more lefts than we have. It's not going to be those strong right-handers only. Maybe we'll see guys like Gabriel take to the air.
You'd see Medina just pick up his freak factor back at J-Bay when he's doing multiple airs, big decisions on the other side. We saw De Souza sort of falling on his finishing moves at J-Bay, but he still turned in a quarterfinal result.
That he did. I think he's got his hands full with Wiggly Dantes. I think he's got to produce his best surfing so far in this event to get past that quarterfinal place. I think Wiggly is showing a little bit more strength. He's more consistent.
Yeah.
He doesn't make any mistakes. This guy, he's surfing like a veteran.
And Felipe, I mean, it looks really good for him. The waves are meant to be about this big, and he's going to be so flagrant with his airs. It's, I mean, you talk about a heavy favorite.
I love that word.
Yeah, surfers by region. We're hoping to see more guys from the USA qualify. Maybe guys like Colapinto, the Coffin brothers could join the tour one day. More talk on surfers by region with the Swatch Women's Pro matchups coming up next. Good morning. Welcome to the backyard of the surf industry here at Lower Trestles in San Clemente, California. If you're just joining us, the contest is called off. Surf looks fun, though. Nice and wet and rainy downstairs. Joe Chappelle alongside Martin Potter, Ross Williams, two former CT competitors. Potts, we kind of know you grew up around the world, kind of like a citizen of the world.
Yep.
Was it hard for you deciding which region you were going to surf for?
No, well, I was born in England, grew up in South Africa, live in Australia, but I still have my British passport. I've always represented the United Kingdom, so yeah, I mean, people get sort of confused where I'm from. Born in England, grew up in South Africa.
And your accent, you would say,
is a mongrel.
It's a nice
mongrel.
A little bit of everything. Love it.
Bits of this, bits of that.
So many waves that are special to you around the world, though. And,
Yep.
and Ross, growing up on the North Shore of Oahu, that was easy to pick the Hawaiian roll. On the top 17, Ross, there's been this dominance from the Hawaiian region,
Yeah.
and kind of taking over that whole Australian message in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's, compared to the men, where there's just a few, for the women, they have been representing strong from Hawaii. And Carissa, over the years, making Hawaii super proud, winning a couple of world titles. And you can see right there, 6, Joe, from Hawaii. And surprising, the Brazilian Storm is so men-heavy. You would think there'd be a handful more of women representing on the CT Tour for the women.
So true. And Silvana Lima in a spot where she's going to try to focus on requalifying for next year. We had a couple of years where we didn't have a Brazilian on the top 17. When we look at the semifinals, it's spread out across the globe. A local girl in Lakey Peterson, one Hawaiian and Carissa Moore, the Australians Dimity Stoyle, and South Africa also representing in Bianca Batendog. South Africa has kind of been in that situation in the last few years where maybe they have 1-2 people representing from that amazing country.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to, even, back when I was on tour, Wendy Botha was the only girl from South Africa representing. So it's kind of always been that way. I don't think that the women's tour, they don't have a strong backing, I don't think, in their local regions over there. So, you've got every now and again a girl comes out firing. So Bianca's that girl right now.
As we welcome brand new regions, Barbados will be on tour next year with Chelsea Tuak qualifying. Keely Andrew, another new face for next season, just to add to the top 17 in the world. Lakey, though, on fire in her few years on tour. And we'll see how the hometown crowd gets behind Lakey when she goes to compete. Sometimes that's a clear message, Ross. At some venues around the world, how have you been reacting to the fans getting behind the locals here?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. Well, you know, it's not maybe as rah-rah as, say, Huntington Beach. You get more of your core audience down here, and you just opened up with it. You know, we're right in the backyard of the surf industry, so you get all the, you know, that kind of that tight family down here to watch their team riders and that whole vibe. But I think everyone's going to be definitely pulling for Nat Young as well as Lakey Peterson.
You know, one thing I've noticed about here is just that they appreciate good surfing. I think everyone's had that raw, you know, Kelly obviously probably leading that, but there's been a lot of support for pretty much anyone that's ripping.
Yeah.
You know, it's a real surf crowd down here. They come down specifically to watch these men and women surf good, and they want to see that. And when they do, they get that appreciation.
Bianca Badendock into the semifinals. What a year she's had so far. A couple of finals, just waiting for a breakthrough win this season. Speaking about big battles and great regions when it comes to surfing, a moment for South America we'll never forget when Sofia Milanovic came on tour and won the first world title for that region, representing Peru. She's going to have a heritage final against a four-time world champ Lisa Anderson. Ross and Potts have been battling on who's going to take this one out.
Yep.
Potts, who are you going with?
Well, I know Ross is going for Lisa, so I'll go with Sophia. I think they're both amazing. You know, Sophia's been doing a lot behind the scenes with surfing in South America. She's got this program called, you know, the Sophia Project, and she's bringing a lot of kids, underprivileged kids in, and she's taking them surfing, and she actually brought two to Australia at the beginning of the year, two unbelievable talented young surfers that we're probably going to see in the future.
And it's cool because Lisa's sort of taken on that role as well, mentoring for Roxy, taking a lot of those team riders under her wing. But she's still ripping. We see all the pictures and videos of her. She's still got that classic knock-kneed style where she does those cool little tail slides. So I want to see some of those, Lisa, out here at Lowers.
We'll never forget that cover that Lisa got when the caption said, "Lisa surfs better than you." It's true. More to come up on Dawn Patrol right after this.
Lower Trestles here for the competition of the Hurley Lowers Pro. It's probably the most perfect place for a competition that's maneuver based. This place has just got this perfect peak of these cobblestone rocks that go out here and formed like these really long sweeping rights. Gives you section after section down the line, or gives you a perfect tapered wall to do any kind of maneuvers. It's just so much fun, and I normally try and sit just out from the groms and try and pull rank on the grommets on the inside.
Thank you, Josh Kerr, for your version of the GoPro breakdown of lower trestles. A skate park is referred to because you can do just about anything you want, especially if you're in the top 34 or the top 17. The world's best, Joe Chappelle, Martin Potter, Ross Williams. As we think about today, it looks still pretty fun, even though it's small.
Yep.
Ross, we have better things to look forward to later on this week.
Yeah, they're supposed to be building a new southwest swell. There's actually 3 little swells coming tomorrow, which is cool. We have the south-southeast swell, and then a little minor northwest wind bump. It's going to make it peaky. I think the wind tomorrow, especially the first half of the day, is supposed to be very light and variable, which is great. So it should be pretty smooth. But there is a bit of concern with some westerly flow in the afternoons for both Thursday and Friday. So those mornings will be clean, maybe a light sea breeze to onshore wind in the afternoon. But as you guys know, Potts, it only needs to be head high for this thing to start actually being super rippable, and that's definitely the case the next 2 days.
No, absolutely right. And if you look at those conditions, obviously forecasted, there's a couple of guys in the draw in mind that are going to light it up in those kind of conditions. For me, Felipe Toledo, Gabriel Medina, those are 2 guys to watch. If they can get past Mick and Joel, quite possibly if a Toledo Medina final, you can see there all the way through. Thursday is probably what we're going to be looking at. And if Kieran's picky, we might go to Friday, but it's going to be insane. I mean, we've got such a good variety of surfers in there. Ross, for you?
Well, I'm with you. And the cool thing about Felipe Toledo and Gabriel Medina is they're on the opposite side of the draw, Joe. So they, if I was a betting man, I would say they're going to make the final together. Of course, they got to get past the Cooley kids, Joel and Mick. And then for the ladies, Lakey, she's going to be spicy. I want to see her do some errors.
That's right. Picking Lakey for the win. Potts on the women's side.
Carissa, I think, too strong. She's been there too many times. I think, Lakey's going to give her a run for her money, but I think Carissa's got last year in mind.
Joe?
Yes, I think Carissa's looking dangerous. Always has from the beginning. On the men's side, you got to look at Medina. He hasn't won in so long, and that's just strange. This could be the time, possibly running tomorrow. Could be a finals day. Remember, tonight at San Clemente Pier, Felipe Toledo releases his signature film, Spinning at the Speed of Now, with Surfing Magazine. Potts and Ross are going to be there, right?
It's going to be there. Popcorn and all.
There we go.
I'm psyched.
We'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow at 7:30 for Dawn Patrol, and hopefully we're on. See you then.